So client creation, as part of the client administration topic, we discussed about the how to create the client, what is required before we create a client, means logical system. So logical systems, you cannot use SAP star DDIC. Why? Because those are the master users. So you cannot use it. You need to use the different other than SAP star DDIC, you have to use it. So basis user we created, right? Basis user we created. So then we have to log into the basis user and we have to do the changes. Okay. So that is the one thing. Sometimes what happens if any one person open that changes will go out, then uh he is not closed the changes from he is not closed the changes, not completed. Is just in progress. He left. So then in this case, the lock entry will be displayed and other persons they cannot able to edit it because of the locking mechanism NQ server that got happened yesterday, right? In that case, we have to ask them people to so leave the transaction. Otherwise, we have to clear the lock entry. That will be also fine here. Okay. So yesterday we created the system. Yesterday we created the client logical systems. Then how to log in means we have to change the profile parameters here. We have to change the some parameters here to change the client to change suppose to log into the newly created client. So any newly created client, you cannot use the SAP star DDIC. Why? Because those are the users which has part of the installation, and those are only for the default clients only, master clients, which we got created as part of the installation. Okay. Whatever the password you given, same passwords we have to use it for these two transactions here, do these two clients. But sir, I created, as you said, we should not use these two. We created the 100 client. Then how can I log into the 100 client means SAP star with the pass? Then what is the how can I enable the SAP star user by default? So there is a parameters. There is a parameter, the login slash no underscore automatic underscore the user underscore SAP star equals to 0. Or if it is the 1, 0, we have to make it. Then we have to change it here. Sir, what is this concept is for where we have to change the SAP related configuration settings and everything. Even in your mobile phone, suppose example, if you take the mobile phone here, in the mobile, suppose you got the, so when you got the new mobile, what you will do, you will go to the settings, you will change the theme, you will change the ringtone, you will change the sound. But what the company will give you the default settings. That is your wish. You want to use the default, you can use it. Otherwise, you can customize it, right? You will customize the theme, wallpaper, ringtone, different settings, different things. You will change it. Where you change it, go to the settings tab, you will change it. That is in the mobile phone. But if it is the SAP system, where we have to change it here, where you have to change it here. So there is a concept is called the profiles and parameters concept here. There is a concept to profiles and parameters here, right? In the profiles and parameters concept, you have to change the this system related configuration settings. We have to change it here, right? So there are the two transaction codes RG10, RG11. Using these two transaction codes, we have to change the SAP configuration parameters and everything here, right? So there are the two types of profiles are there in SAP. There are the two types of profiles, right? One is the instance profile. So then second one is the default profile. Instance profile means, sir, we have SAP. Whenever you do the installation, there the two instances will be created, right? One is the ASCS and second one is the application server, which means primary application server profile. So in case of if you install the additional application server, then additional application server profiles you will get it out here, right? So which means that application server will be controlled by the this profile parameter, this profiles, right? Then default profile, this is a system wide. So default So profile, default profile, all the default settings contains in the default profile here. So all the instance specific related things will come in the instance profile. In the instance profile, we have the instance profile here. There are the two types of profiles, instance profile and a default profile. Instance means ASS and application server, right? So ASS means message server, NQ server related control settings will be available here. And so if you want to change the message server, NQ server related settings or anything, you can go to the ASS profile, you can edit it, right? And application server related, each instance there is a one profile will be created here. One profile will be created. There we have to change it here. Then default profile means system wide settings here. System wide default related settings here. Default means default client, default language, default use. These are the default settings here. So those default SID, default, those default related thing, common related things will be in the default profile. That will be in the default profile here. Okay. So here in the profiles, we have to change the, sir, what type of changes? Any changes? Suppose if you want to increase the work process, if you want to change the process, if you want to decrease the process, if you want to change the logon settings, password settings, timeout settings, any changes you want to perform in the SAP, you have to go to the RG10 or RG11, you have to do the changes here, right? Suppose if you go to the RG10, whenever you open, system will not open. Then in this case, system is stopped status. So which means what you have to do, you need to, this is on the Linux system. Windows, we know, we can just directly go to the SAP management console, then there the right click and we can start it. Right click and we can start it here. Right click and we can start it. Right. So that is fine. But Linux, you need to execute the commands here. Linux, you need to execute the commands like, so start SAP, stop SAP with SID ADM user means N1H ADM user. Just you need to use the start SAP command. Then that will be started. That will be started here. So start SAP all means all application server. If you give the only, so ASS, then ASS will only start it here. If you give the D instance number, only D instance number means primary application server. If you give the D01, only this application server will be started. Like this, whatever you give, only that related application server will be started status here. That will be started here, right? So it is started. So then you can log in now. You can log into the system here. See here, now we got the screen, which means system is started. Then only you will get the logon page here. So we can use the a basis user to log into the system here. To log into the system, we can use the basis user here. Okay. So that is the user you have used it here. So SAP level, any changes, you have to execute the transaction code. The related business page will come. So transaction code means shortcut to the business application or business page. There we have to perform the related activities and everything here. So first time we need to import the profiles. Import the profiles from active servers means it will take it the profiles from the operating system level. So then you can go to the profiles. You can see the profiles. They are the, so two types of profiles, default profile and instance profile, right? So default profile, default, right? Instance profile, one is the ASS related profile and second one is the D01 means primary application related profile here, primary application server related profile here. So suppose if you want to change the default profile, then select the default profile, go to the extended maintenance. These are the settings here, but we have to select the extended maintenance. We want to change it, we can just go to the change button and you can see the information here, what you have to change it here, right? You can see the parameters here, right? So same as like if you go to click on the create button, suppose you want to change the some parameter. If you don't know the parameter, then you can go to the search box. Then here you can type the, suppose you want to change the logon parameters, then logon star, then you will get the logon related parameters here. So some disable the CPIC, create the SSO2. These all are the parameters. Profiles contains the parameters here, right? So fails to user lock, unlock. Suppose like example, 5 times if the user enters the wrong password, automatically the user will be locked. So I want not the 5 times here, the standard value. I want so 8 times. 8 times if the user enters the wrong password, immediately user will be locked, right? I want not the 5 times, I want 8 times. Like that, you need to change the value here, right? Then once you change, this is the parameter. This parameter, what is that? Change the user fails to user lock. Means if you enter the 8 wrong passwords, then that user will be locked automatically. Then who will controlling? This parameter is controlling. Sir, 5 times means it's a very small. Just you can enter the sometimes 3 times only. In the banking sector, people will do for the 3 times. 3 times if you enter the wrong password, then immediately your user will be locked, right? So that is depends upon the company. So here fails user to lock, then it's a 8. Then 8 times he can enter the password. Then copy. You need to use the copy command. Okay, just to copy. Once you change the parameter value, you can copy. Then go back, copy, right? 2 times copy. Go back and save, activate. Okay, save and activate. Then immediately, so but to affect the activating the value, immediately the value will not be affected here. You have to restart the application server here. Sir, what is this means? What is the RG10 and RG11? RG10 is a RG10 is like a static parameters. Static, all the static parameters we can change here, but you need to restart the system to affect the changes here. But these are the permanent changes here. These are the permanent changes here, right? RG11 is a so dynamic parameters. So we can all the dynamic parameters we can change it here. So we can change. So we can change here, but you no need to you no need You no need to restart the system to affect the changes. These are only temporary changes only. Whenever you do the system restart, automatically these changes will be gone. But if you restart it, these changes will be affected. This kind of a downtime activities related changes here. So RG10, when you do the parameter changes in the RG10, definitely you need to restart the system to affect the changes. But once the restart is done, those changes are the permanent and the changes will be affected. So RG11, this is the dynamic parameters. All the dynamic parameters we can change it here, but you no need to restart the system. It's a dynamic. Dynamic means immediately it will be affected here, but it's only temporary only until you restart. Okay. So these are the differences. Now you are doing the changes in the RG10, which means these are the permanent changes here, right? So like that, you can change it in the instance profile also. Suppose, sir, here dialog work process, I have mentioned like 10. Sir, I don't need 10. Why 10 for the training systems? Currently, you see here. So they are the system configurations. We can change it. Dialog work process with this means these are in the system side, right? So 10 work process, there the 6 are there. Sir, I don't need 10, right? Why we need 10? So we can decrease it means, yes, there is a profile parameters or we can increase it, right? Yes, there is a profile parameter. Which profile parameter? Where the dialog work process, BTC work process are available. Application server profile means application server instance profile, extended maintenance, change it. Then what is the profile param? If you see here, whatever your changes, it is there here, it is fine. If it is not there, you need to just go ahead and create the parameter here. Here 10 is there. I don't need 10 here. 4, that is enough. 4, that is why, because training system 4 we can enough here. So then that's fine. We can change it, copy, right? Go back, save, activate, save. But to affect the parameter, you have to restart the application server, which means immediately. So you done the changes. Sir, if I go to the SM50, I see again 10.6 only, but I have changed this one to the 4 and 4. I have changed it. Then where is this parameters are affecting, sir? It's not affected, right? means it won't affect. What is that? When you change the profile parameters in the RG10, you need to restart the system to affect the changes here, right? Then what you have to do, you can go to the SAP level, then stop SAP, only application server you have to stop it, or you want to stop all, you can use the all the instances like whatever there in the here, everything will be stopped. Just only you want to stop the R3, this is called the R3 application server or all. Just if you execute the command, then it will stop the application server. It will stop the SAP application server will be stopped here. So normally this is the downtime activity, means SAP system will be stopped status. Downtime means when the system is not available for the users, that is called the downtime activity. So this kind of restarts and activities we have to do it in the off business hours. Off business hours means when the users won't log in that time. So we have to do the this activities here. We have to do the this activities here. Done. So system is stopped here. Now I'm going to start the SAP here, right? I'm going to start the system here. Then you see it will start it here. Just stop and start immediately. The parameter changes will be affected here. Previously we have the 10 dialogues, 6 BTC. Now we have changed it here. It should come, right? See here, that got we got the SAP login screen here. Then you can log in, right? If you go to the SM50 here, you see the changes here, then 4 and 4, right? So how it got changed, how the work process got decreased here, how the work process got decreased here. So we have changed the related parameter, we have changed in the profile here. We went to the RG10, then we have changed the value of the profile parameters here, value of the profile parameters. If you change, you have changed it here, right? So we have changed the value of the parameters here. Don't change remaining things, few things we can change, sir. Like this, sir, you mentioned like we have to log into the newly created client. You mentioned like there is a parameter we have to change it, right? Login slash no underscore automatic underscore. Sir, I don't remember that one. So can you tell me how to search it out? Then go to the search bar, search here. Then here, down, click on the down arrow. Here, just type the parameter name here. Sir, I remember only login slash. Just list out the what are the parameters will comes under the login slash here, right? There is a so fail to user unlock, enable the automatic unlock program at midnight level, right? If the any user is locked, automatically this will be, suppose like basis user is locked, automatically this user will be unlocked. So this parameter value we have changed it here, right? So this value we have changed it here. So then like this, anything which are relevant to the your company, so then you can change the parameter. Sir, I want newly created client, I want to log into the newly created client. So how can I log in? There is a no underscore automatic login of the SAP star here. There is a minimum password uppercase in the password length, how many characters. So number of characters, special characters, digits, characters, number of invalid logon attempts, user log. So there the many things are there. Suppose I want to change this to the 0. Why? Because it should be 1 default. If you change it to the 0, then copy, go back, copy, then go back and save. If you save it, copy, then activate, then profile parameters will be activated, but you have to restart the system here, right? Then you can restart the system here. Otherwise, so we can restart it multiple ways here. Either in MMC you can do the restarts, or you can do the restarts using the MMC, you can do the restarts. Otherwise, only one application server, right? One application server we can do the restarts. SSID, ADM user. Otherwise, password issue. Then we can use the stop SAP, start SAP. So these parameters will control the entire system behavior. System behavior will control it. System configuration changes. System configuration, if anything you want to change it, you need to restart the system in RG10. But when you do the changes in the RG11, you no need to do the changes here. You no need to do the changes here, right? So why? Because it's a RG11, it's a dynamic changes, dynamic parameters and dynamic changes here, dynamic parameters and dynamic changes. We can change it here, but no need to restart the system to affect the changes here, right? That is the main thing here, right? That is the one thing here. So here you can do the changes here. So it's stopped status. Then again you can start it here. Stop SAP, start SAP. So these are the commands will stop the services at operating system level. If it is the Windows, you can also use the MMC. Use the MMC, you can start and stop it here. So that is possible, right? So that is also one of the method, multiple ways using the SAP control command, stop SAP, start SAP. So multiple ways you can stop the SAP systems and start the SAP systems here, right? So here, then you can log in. You can log in and you can see the changes here. Sir, RG10 is fine. What about the RG11? So, sir, how can I remember RG11? Only dynamic changes. Dynamic changes means, sir, there are the hundreds of lakhs of parameters. Sir, then how can I remember all the parameters, like which one is the static and which one is the dynamic means? So, whatever the parameter here, just you can keep it here. So just you can keep it here. Just keep the parameter name here. Any parameter, click on the display mode here. Then if any parameter name, there is a change value is coming here. So this is called the dynamic parameter. Immediately the value will be affected, but changes are the not the permanent, will be lost at server restart. Means it's only temporary changes only. But not all the parameters are dynamic parameters. Only few are the dynamic parameters. Sir, how can I check those parameters, the static or dynamic means? You have to go to the RG11, put the parameter name and display. If the change value is coming for that parameter, that is called the dynamic parameter. Some parameters, suppose example, some parameters there is no change value. There is no change value button, right? Then it's not the dynamic parameter. You need to restart the system, but you have to change it in the RG10 only. So only few are there, few parameters. Those are the static parameters. Few are the dynamic parameters. For which parameter the change value is coming, that is called the dynamic parameter. For which parameter the change value is not coming, so that is not the dynamic parameter. You have to set in the RG10. You have to restart it here. That is the difference between the RG10 and RG11. So you can check first of all which is restart is required or not, right? Then you have to permanently you have to change it, right? Then you can set it in the RG10 here. Then copy restart. Then the changes will be activated after the restart here, right? So that is the one thing here, right? So RG10, RG11 is for the transaction code to change the system configuration settings here. So anything you want to change it, you can do the changes in the systems here. Sir, you mentioned like if you change the one parameter here, suppose like so we created the 100 client, 102 clients we created. Sir, I want to log into the newly created client, but we changed the parameter, right? So 100 client. So then we created the new client. Then how can I log in means? Then you can use the SAP star with PASS pass. You can use it. You can able to log into the 100 client here. 100 client you can able to log in here, right? Sir, how it is possible means you have changed the parameter value, right? Then suppose like 889, someone created the 889 here. I don't know the password, but what we can do, we can change the, we can log into the SAP star with the PASS pass. We can log in and you can see, I logged into the 889 here, right? How you logged in? SAP star with the pass, PASS pass. How you enabled it? This one, there is a parameter you have changed it here. By doing these changes, you are able to log into the any newly created client. To log into the client, you need to change the parameter. Once you change it, any client, any newly created clients, you can log in with the SAP star with password. You can log in here. That is possible here, right? So that is the profiles and parameters concept here, right? Any profile parameter normally you will get as part of the recommendation from SAP, or SAP will tell you, so please change this value to the this one, this one. So then that time you should know how to change it and where to change it. So where to means go to the RG10. There you need to so put the parameter name, select the instance profile, then you need to change the parameter value and copy and save and activate and restart it. Then the value will be affected here, right? It's a dynamic parameter. You can change it here, but if you restart it, the changes will be lost. Why? Because it's only temporary only. So if anything, if you want to permanent, definitely you need to set the parameter in the RG10, restart it. The value will be affected here. The value will be affected here. Okay, that is the profiles and parameters. There are the two types of profiles are there: instance profile and a default profile. Sir, instance profile means I have the 10 instances, one ASCS and one application server profiles are the 10 are there. Then 10 profiles will be there, right? Yes. Why? Because each and every application server will be controlled by these profiles. So profiles will be there here. These profiles will control the application server related things here. So that is the very important here. Even these profiles are not there, your SAP system it won't start. While starting the SAP system, it will always look the profiles. What is the values are there in the parameters? Profiles contains the parameters. Okay. Profile is like a some file. In the file itself, we have the lines called the parameters here. Where to change it? RG10 and RG11 here. Okay. That is the profiles and parameters concept here.
And what about the additional application server profile?
That you have to change it manually. Each and every application server, you have to change it manually. So if you want to change the parameter value in the all the instances, you have to change it in all the instances. Just to go to the RG10. So each and every application server will get right here. Also, you will get the one more application server profile, one more application server profile. They'll select that profile, then go to the external maintenance. Then you need to change the value. Same applicable for the all.
Okay.
So once you've done the changes, you need to restart it. System will be restarted and you can log into the newly created client. Sir, that is fine. As part of the client copy, client client creation, newly created client I created. Sir, as of now, I don't know how to. So I created the client, but as of now, I have done the changes in the 000001. So now I realized we should not do any changes in the 000001. We have to use the default client, either 100 or 200, whatever the favorite client your customer is using. We have to use it. There we have to deploy the customer changes and everything. Sir, but I have done the changes in the 000. Then how can I so get my data? Why? Because 2 months I so put the efforts to get the changes, but now how can I get the data? That's why SAP introduced the client copies concept. Client copies concept. With this client copies, there are the three types of client copies: local client copy, remote client copy, then client export and import method. So local client copy means so local means who is called the local within the city, right? Suppose you are the Hyderabad local person, or you are the local guy, which means he is staying in the local, is the everything is in the local only, local guy, right? So that is the local client copy, which means in the SAP system you have the 000 client, 001 client, you have the 100 client is there. Okay, 100 client is there here, right? We have the 001 client is there here. 001, there is 001 client is there here. So what it is there here? 001 to 100 client here, right? So here, sir, I have done the changes in the here 001. Why? Because data is specific to the client only, right? Client dependent data is there here. Sir, I want same data should be in the 100 client means do I need to create the start? Not required. There is a client copy option. So to copy the data within the system from 100 client to 01001 or 001 to 100 client is called the local client copy, which means within the city, suppose like within the Hyderabad, you are transferring the data from LB Nagar to Amirpet, LB Nagar to Kukatpalli, within the city only, right? Within the city means local. You are the local transfer, domestic transfer. Then that is called the local client copy. Locally, you are copying the data from one client to another client is called the local client copy. Local client copy means locally you are transferring the data from one to another is called the local client copy. That is called the local client copy here. Locally you are transferring the data from one to another client here. This is called the local client copy. Okay. So for why we have to copy the data? There is a requirement, you have the data here, but same data should be here to testing purpose. If you they do the testing, this client will be impacted, right? So then to avoid this kind of things, they have to do the testing in the 100 client, so that if this is corrupted also, you have the data here, then that is fine, right? So that purpose, sometimes people will ask you to perform the local client copy to the new client here. So then you need to create the new client and log into the newly created client. So to perform the local client copy here, you need to log into newly created client. Newly created client, you need to log into the newly created client with SAP star with pass. Go to SCCL transaction code for the local client copy. Then select the data. Which data? Data in the form of the profile, client copy profile. They are the profiles like SAP underscore all the data you required. No, no, no. I don't have only users data. Yes, I have only users. I want to pull it. Then only customization data. Yes, customization data I want. So whatever the data you want to pull it, select the related profile. Then execute in the execute it background via job. Background job. I execute the background job here. So which means to perform the client copy. So first of all, client copy means ignore what is local, remote, export, import. Client copy means copy. Copy means I have in my mobile, I have the data. My mobile in my mobile, I have the one document or I have the mobile movie. I want to transfer it to the your mobile. That is called the copy, right? So, but within the my mobile, I want to transfer from the download folder to the desktop or desktop to the documents folder. That is called the local. Local transfer you are doing, right? Then here we need to use the SCCL is the transaction code to perform the local client copy, right? SCCL is the you need to log into the newly created client, not the 001 client. Newly created client, which means 100 client, right? So then you need to it is the production mode. It is the production client protected against the client copy. 100 client means here what happened here? Someone yesterday 100 client is like a production client. They have made it here. Yesterday we made it, which means production client you cannot change it here. Production client you cannot change it here. Production client, right? So then that is the reason we need to make the changes here. AED does not exist. What is that AED? INR. What happened here? Someone did the wrong client copies, I guess. Suppose example 889. So we have the first of all, let me check the 889. What is the client copy settings? No changes, training and education. If it is the production, we should not do the data override to the production here. Production is the very dangerous. Why? Because all the business data will be here. So we should not do here. So we have to give back here, right? We have to go back. Then, okay, client is okay. You are doing in the newly, you are logged into the newly created client with SAP star. Then what you are going to do now? So you need the data, right? SCCL using the client copy. Client is locked by data import of the copy. Who is doing here? Locked. Local client copy. Client is locked for data import by data. Okay. SCC4. These are the settings will controlled by the SCC4 settings here. These all are the see no overriding. So which means you should not override the settings here. So no overriding. Someone said the no overriding here. Right? So which means so INR does not exist. Something wrong here. That is the reason. Okay, let me change it from here, from the master client. So I will do the changes from the master client. So it will accept your data. So 100 client, take the 100 client here. Then changes, just to make the changes, change the value to the other than production. Then save it, right? Data is saved here, right? So then, so same as like here also 0001. So changes, then not overriding. If you put the no overriding, people cannot do the overriding here, right? I done the changes here. I have done the changes here. So now log into the newly created client SCCL. Then select the what is the target client. You need to log into the target client. Then select the profile which data. Okay, why? Because data is separated by the client copy profile here, right? Sir, I want only user master data. Then you can select this profile. I want only customization. You can select this profile. I want all the data. I want to do that one. This one you can choose it here. SAP underscore user only user master data and profiles. You want to select it here. Then you can choose the user master data and records here, right? From which client you required? 001 client. Sir, I have done the changes in the 001 client, which means what date changes. So you selected the so normally data means all the data, but there is a separation is there. So only users data or application data or transaction data or customization data. There are a lot of things are there, separate segregation, right? So, but sir, I want only users data I want to copy to the newly created client. From source is the 001. I want to copy to the 100 client here, right? So then you can schedule as a background job or start immediately means in the dialog mode, in the foreground mode, it will start it. When it is started in the foreground mode, your screen will be freezed, right? But the recommendation is you need to schedule as a background job immediately. Click on the schedule, continue, then the job is created here. The background job is created here. So we can check, go to the SCC3, we can check the client copy profile, whether it is happening or not. Yes, the client copy is happening here. There the number of tables 103 out of 26 are copied. Just click on this one. Yes, it's already 103 to 103 tables are copied, right? Data copied here. Then client copy got finished here, right? So this client copy, the users related data, how many tables? 103 tables. The 103 tables data got copied to the target system. Target, it is copied here. Then what you copied? Users. Then definitely there must be a users here. There must be a users here. You can see whatever the users are there in the 001 basis, some guru, SAP, someone who created, those users copied to the 100 client as well. 100 client also that got copied here. 100 client also that got copied. So now onwards, you can log into the 100 client with basis user also. Normally we have not created, but you can also log in with here. So we also log into the 100 client with this user. How you logged in? Did you create the any user? No. Then how you got the data? You got the data from the 001 client, 001 client here. So in that case, go to the SCCL. That so you can select the profile, which data you want to do that one. You can select the data. Then you can which data you want. Suppose like I want to copy the customization data. Means developers who changed the data, that data I want to copy to the 100 client here, right? Then select it. Then you can schedule as a background job here. Then there is a background job. There is a background job in SM37. If you select it, if you check it out here, that background job, client copy job, which will copy the data here, right? So otherwise, I don't need background job means that is the recommended approach. If you can also start immediately, when you start immediately, your screen will be freezed like this only here. Why? Because you started in the dialogue mode. Dialogue mode means you can only be staying in this group, but you cannot do it in the other screen here until you complete the client copy. So when you are doing in the dialogue mode, system performance will be impacted now. Why? Because it will be impacted your system performance. Dialogue mode you are doing. See, dialogue mode you are doing. Your screen will be like this. You cannot go to anywhere, any transactions you cannot execute now until you complete this screen here, right? So this is the dialogue mode. Means start immediately. Dialogue mode, if you do it, your screen will be freezed. Then there will be a performance impact here. There will be a performance impact. If you go to the SMLG, if you see here, there is a response time here. There is a response time will be increased here. This is the response time will be increased here. So normally we should not do this kind of long running process in the dialogue mode here. See, processing the tables, processing the tables, processing the tables, which means the tables data are getting copied from 001 client to 100 client. Whatever the tables data, the tables data is getting copied here. The tables data getting copied here. You see, it is getting copied here. The tables data getting copied into the system here. Only 6% completed. So you need to wait till completion now. If you set it in the background mode here, so I have, so if you schedule, if you so see here, you can check the progress here SM13. So but it is locked. So the lock is deleted. If you cancel in middle, I have cancelled it. So cancelled the data. So total 9,800. So tables only 719 they got copied, which means so. But if you SEC3, you can check the logs. SECL local client copy. What you can do, you can select the profile here, what data. Then if you schedule as a background job, that is a smooth execution, which means no interruption that will be run in the backend. So then you can do it otherwise while do this processing here, right? SM37 we can monitor the job, or SM37 we can monitor the job that is completed or not. Also in SMSCC3 we can check the status whether the client copy is finished or not, so that we can check it out here. So this way we can perform the client copies here, local client copy. From any client to any client, you can transfer the data here. So you have to create the new client, log into the newly created client, then select the data, which data you want to transfer. So then you can select it here, right? So SAP underscore also, I want to copy all the data which is there in the 001200 client means you have to select the all the data. But this will take hours, several hours. Sir, I want to only less data for testing purpose means you can choose the SAP underscore user or SAP underscore cust also. It will take the hours because these are the two big profiles. All the data will be copied here. So if you want to execute in the background job mode only. Okay. So local means locally copying the data from one client to another client. Sir, how can I test the data? Then you can go to, then how you log into the 001 client with DD basis user you are logging. SAP star DDS you can ignore. That is only for the default clients. So when you use the SAP underscore all, so then RCP underscore cast, that DDIC also will come sometimes. Sometimes DDIC also will come to the DDIC also will come to the, so the this master client when you use the super SAP underscore all or SAP underscore cast. So you are only copying the data, users data. So then only whatever the users are there, those users will come from 0012 100 client or 0002 100 client. So that newly created client, where whatever the new client you created, then you can copy the data from here to here or here to here or here to here. Whatever you want, you can copy to the newly created client. In that case, you need to log into the newly created client with SAP star with pass. Then go to the SCCL, change the profile, select the profile, which profile data you want to copy, then execute in the background. Just you can see it, that will be completed. Okay, this is the client copies. We can check it in the SCC3. This is the local client copy. Got it? Any questions, anyone? So what you have to do, you can create a new client, whatever the client you created, you can log into the new client with SAP Star with the pass, then pull the data from the any one of the existing client. So existing client means you have the data in the either 000001. So then you can pull the data to the your newly created clients, you can pull the data. Okay.
Okay, suppose that customizing data, right? Customizing you are saying.
Yes.
So in the customization, the screen color and all these changes coming under the customization data, right?
Yes, whatever the whatever the our developers developed or developers changed, so all the customization will comes under that data.
Okay, and we want the user, right? Then user means UMR only, right?
Only
User
users and their profiles authorizations will be transferred from the so one to another. Yeah.
UMR.
Yes, UMR.
Okay.
What changes we made in SAP Star? Did we change the value to 1, 0 to 1? Yeah.
To enable the parameter, we have changed the parameter value from 1 is there, then we have changed the value to the 0. Then only you will able to log into the, so previously by default it is the 1, but if you change value to the 0, then you can able to log into the SAP Star with the pass.
Okay, is there any specific convention like 0 is off or 1 is on?
0 is a true and 1 is the false in the binary value.
Okay,
Any parameter, if it is a 0 means true, 1 is the false. False means so control of the automatic login user is 1, which means false, means it will be cannot log in. If it is the 0 means true. But we have to make it values only here.
okay.
Sir,
In
do you have to remember any parameter, specific parameter value for
Not required
interview?
actually. Why? Because these are the normally use cases parameters, right? So that's why I remember.
Because I got one query in interview like can global allocation parameter be 0?
Yeah, that is the HANA related parameters here. DB administration related times, the global allocation limit means memory limitation parameter. If it is the 0 means it's unlimited. So whatever the memory is there, it will use that much of memory, it will use it. Yes, it will be set to 0 by default. Maybe if you want to adjust it, we can adjust to the our desired value, we can adjust it.
Okay,
That is the DB related parameter, GAL limit, global underscore allocation underscore limitation parameter.
okay, okay.
So, during client copies, we need to lock the source client like
Not
001
required,
client.
not required actually. So, but best practice is better to lock the source client. Otherwise, source client it will not allow you, first of all. Why? Because when you are doing the client copy, suppose, let's see here, it will not allow, system is client copy is in progress, it cannot allow you. So, suppose
We
you are
can't
doing the,
do perform changes in source client during client
yeah,
copy.
it's the best practices, we have to lock it. So otherwise without locking also we can perform it. Suppose 100 client, I am going to the SCCL. Okay, I am copying the user's data here. So it will be completed immediately only. So I am doing in the dialog mode. Then if I log into the client here 001 with basis user, and it is allowed. Why? Because it got done, it completed actually 103 tables in the 7 seconds only, it's completed. It's very fast. So yes, normally it won't allow you to, if the client copy is in progress, so it won't allow you to log in, first of all. So example, 100 client, right? Let's take the longest to one, SCCL, take the SAP underscore cust. Okay, run it as a background job. So this will be run in the background job you are doing here. Now you are trying to log in from, you are trying to log in 001 client, source client, okay, source client data. Then you are trying to log in. So sometimes it will say, it is logged in. So it will say like client copy is in progress or okay, client copy failed, then you cannot able to log in. We can lock it. We can also log the all the users, then perform the client copy. Yes, that's possible. So now it is running in the backend. So there is a user, right? There is a client copy which is running in the user. So then there is a background job which is active currently, right? This is running perfectly. Then SEC3, we can find out what is the status here. If you go to the all the clients here, it is processing here. So it is processing. What is the profile? SAP underscore class source 001 target 100 client. Then what is the table it is being copied? BUTR. This is a table. How many tables total? 9,862. How many? 1274 copied. Just click on the refresh. 157816. Then 16161616. So data is getting copied. You can monitor here. There is a monitor. So you can see the monitor. So total this table, this much of percentage is completed here. So if you keep on just waiting the screen, then this red line will come to the end, then 100% will be completed here, right? So if you cancel here in middle, you can also cancel the client copy. When you cancel the client copy, your client will be locked. Source client will be locked status here. Source client will be locked against client to log on, something like that. It will say here. When you go to the SEC3, see, it is locked. And the client is locked against login. Then we can reset the locks here, right? So that is what will happen.
Okay, then how to lock the source client during client copy manually?
Log the not the client. So in the latest versions, in the S4 versions, we can log the client, but so users, if you lock it, no one will log, right? So users lock, we can use it. We can log the users.
Okay.
Okay. So please practice it.
Uh, Ravinder, I'm having few question. That real-time scenario, right? Uh, Suppose healthcare customer is there, communication customer is there. Then in the same ACP system, we need to create the different client for that different
Yes,
customer.
those two clients are merged and they are okay to have the two clients. Then one client healthcare, one more client we have the what is the communication. Those two clients we can create it. Yes. Why? Because data is separated by the client. So that client data is in the 100 client, this client data in the 200 client. So then yes, we can separate it.
Okay, means infrastructure is same, but we can support the two customer. You are saying.
Infrastructure is same. We can support to the two customers means what? Yeah, infrastructure is same. Database is same. So yes,
Huh,
database is same. SAP is same. SID is same. Instance number, everything is same. But
correct.
only thing is, yeah, two they want to separate, right? So then we can have the two clients for the production. We can have the two clients. So in that case, yeah, we can have the two clients. Then one system, we have the two clients. We can support it. Yes, that's not a problem. But rare cases we have this kind of customers actually. Why? Because sometimes it will impact the so this customer is different business. That customer is different business. Then in that case, the screens only client dependent data is fine. What about the client independent data? Some data is the client independent that is applicable for the all the clients if you do the changes. So that time. So when this client have a requirement to change the something, then this client data also will be changed sometimes. So that is the difficult sometimes in the long run.
Okay, okay. And yesterday you spoke about the logical system, right? So one client can connect to the one logical system, but one logical system can connect to the so many clients, right?
Actually, that is not the recommended approach. Manually, if you want to assign it, you can assign it. One client, one dedicated logical system. Second client, then second client related 200 client logical system. That is the separate logical systems we have to create and we have to assign it. For all the clients, if you assign the same logical system, then what is the difference here? So all the client data will be stored in the form of the same logical system, right? Then each client, suppose like you have the 200 client, then 200 client related logical system you have to assign. So suppose like, let me see, suppose like here 100 client, then 100 client related logical system we have assigned it. Then 108 client, there is no logical system. It's not the valid client. 222, there is no logical systems. Then 333, yeah, 523 logical system is assigned. So whatever the client, the related logical system you have to assign. That is the best practice. People are created, but why they have not assigned the logical systems? It's not the good. It's not the good practice. Here 102 is there. 102 is there, then people assigned the 501 logical system. Then it is wrong. It is also wrong.
Okay, so whatever we are giving, the
Yeah,
same
whatever the client creating, the related logical system you need to create and assign it. So now, if you want to pull the data based upon the logical system field, you will pull the data, right? So all the clients have the same logical system, then all the clients' data will be saved in the format. If you pull the Ravi, then all the clients related Ravi data will be displayed. So that is not the good one. So in the filtering and reporting purpose, it said we will give the some errors. So whatever the client, the related data, we have to create it.
and SAP star by default password is pass only.
Pass only by default. Anyway.